You are watching Co-op for Two. I'm Jesse. I'm here with Greg.
Thanks for having me on your channel.
This is our Should You Back It about the Kickstarter for Marvel United X-Men. You can watch our playthrough. You can watch our very short Before You Buy It episode. And you can watch our long discussion and review of the game and some playthroughs. But this is focusing on the upcoming Kickstarter. Do you know when this ends? In a couple weeks.
It's like less than 20 days now.
It's like the end of April. Well, it's going to say here.
Well, depending on when this airs, but yeah.
So here we go. So let's take a look at it.
Moving up as we speak.
So I went through it. We played the base game of Marvel United.
Which we both enjoyed. We thought it was a fun game, a light game, almost a consumable game for
Which is
for,
important
for
this.
gamers. It's a consumable game. You play through each hero and each villain, and you're kind of done with it. A lot more life for family or like gateway gamer type things, or like non-gamers or kids. So a very positive feeling we both had on the game. In fact, I was hoping not to like it because I didn't want to think about even backing this.
So 15 days to go. So 3rd or 4th of May it's going to end. All right, so here we go. So this is X-Men.
Yeah. So I guess I'll just start riffing here. Jesse and I, we both read the X-Men comics. I was a huge X-Men fan for so many years, big comic fan, nerdy kid. And this Kickstarter is kind of cool because it has a lot of deep cuts. There's a lot of cool characters that are like older, and I'm like, whoa, they got Arcade in here. I don't read the current stuff as much, but scattershot, but they have like Callisto and Deathbird and just, Sauron and all these like characters. I'm like, wow, I'm like very surprised that they aren't going with just sort of like the big popular nowadays characters. Now, this is a little bit controversial though, these Kickstarters for us now.
Yes, they are. We're not a huge fan of this market.
In general. But this in particular, Cool Mini or Not, is really a machine, right? You're not going to think like, will they deliver? I mean, we're past that with Cool Mini or Not. They put on, 3 or 4 a year, and they're millions of dollars. I mean, it's a huge industry, and they've really figured out how to do it.
They know how to push all the buttons, and it's always full of miniatures
and extras and Kickstarters exclusives. This one in particular is weird. Is really. They've really got you.
They know what they're doing. They're going to extract the most money from you.
Yeah. Now Marvel United, which was the game that was its sister game, that was its predecessor. You can actually you can see that a lot of the expansions and content for that game is not available commercially, like a retail version. So
it was available on the first Kickstarter for the base game, and now you have an opportunity to buy it all here.
We'll look at that, but I mean, essentially, there's a ton of content for this game that you cannot get retail. That is only Kickstarter exclusive.
There will be another I could guarantee there's going to be another Kickstarter for this in a year or so. But so if you didn't get it this
card, you can guarantee that.
Okay, I can't guarantee it.
But essentially, in the past, like Zombicide and stuff, you would find, hey, you're going to get an extra bunch of characters, maybe some extra zombies, maybe different sculpts and things. And those were like more cosmetic and some gameplay stuff, but you were getting essentially the same game.
Right.
With these two games, Marvel United X-Men and Marvel United, the regular version, there's an absolute deluge of content you are not getting. So let's look at let's look at it here. We've got fast pace, which we've mentioned.
This is a review of the basic system, which you can watch our review in our Before You Play, which is basically going to be unchanged.
Hold on, let's see this. Up to 5 players with one controlling the villain. Okay, so you can actually have one person controlling the villain. You can throw that right out. That's
probably going to be terrible.
Complete. This is like a Kickstarter trick of here's another mode,
that's usually true, but this game is so elegant and clean, you could imagine them making this work. It looks pretty simple.
But that's a Kickstarter way of always being here's extra content that
true. But imagine you got a little kid who's if it's simple enough to do, it looks like they're just picking where to put it.
Maybe
it might work. Yeah. Okay, what else we got? Supervillain cards.
Introduce nasty surprises for the heroes. Okay, so a little extra. To each hero. Okay, so we know this.
No, this is different. This is like a special card, like a one-time per game you might trigger.
That's a card for that. Oh, heroic man. Oh, interesting. Okay, so maybe a little bit of complexity, which I would be fine with.
Not too much.
Each hero now has at least 4 special effects cards in their deck, usually with 2 types or more. Some key effects are always in your starting hand. Well, that's a really interesting, clever little addition.
Yes.
To make so you don't get stuck with card, never seeing clever. Those clever.
That is clever.
Those better cards that you have.
But only for the mutant heroes.
But these are all. I think every character in this will be a mutant because that's what X-Men.
Okay.
the X-Men are mutants, and so are their villains. So here's a
Okay.
bunch of testimonies. You know, we don't need that. We know. We played the
Z
game.
says
And,
he feels good about backing
yeah,
here.
let's roll ahead here.
Okay, so here we go.
So
there's the minimal. This is the minimal
So
pledge?
the game itself you can buy very inexpensively for like $30, $25 to $35, right? I think Amazon's got it for like $35 or whatever. So it's very inexpensive, but it does have a lot of shoddy, cheap cardboard in it, but the minis are spectacular. So now you're definitely spending more with the 65, but you're going to be paying for shipping as well. So let's just say $85, right?
That's a lot of money to pay. This is very close to the base game's worth of content.
Yeah, but let's
so
scroll on.
$35, $30 normal. Now it's 65 plus 20 shipping. That's a lot more to pay for this.
Now, one thing to look at though, which is kind of cool about this new version,
but you're
is
getting
the fact,
this other stuff.
Yeah, is that you have two characters that are villains and heroes, so you can use them in both ways. So that's a lot more replayability, which is pretty cool, and it's a great little addition to the system for sure. Oh, let's keep going here.
Okay. So here's where we get to some
Tons
extras.
of these are
and
all
Kickstarter
Kickstarter exclusive,
yeah.
and I think that the villains add a lot more value in a way because they're changing things or they're a little different.
Absolutely, the villains.
Now they act as together as a team, which is a really cool thing. Also,
except a trio of villains that act together. So it's probably just going to be one enemy you play against, one card.
Well, it is one enemy.
So instead of 3 different new variety of enemies, just one.
But it's still cool.
But let's see what else they've got.
Massive amount of people. Massive amount of characters.
Yeah.
Whoa, they unlocked Firestar, Strong Guy, See, look at this. Strong Guy, Polaris, all that
nice
factor.
mini there, that
Long Shot, that's another deep cut. You don't really see him. And his mini looks great. He's jumping over that thing.
Yeah.
Boom, Boom, Dazzler. Love Dazzler. That's an old school. Sunspot, Magic, Firestar. She and Phoenix even have those cool, like, little flame effects on them.
Yeah,
Sunfire,
nice.
Warpath.
Wow, all Kickstarter exclusives.
Blink. That's all. Havoc.
They've got a little algorithm. Every time they put that Kickstarter exclusive, they know their bottom line goes another 100,000.
Yeah, I mean, but all those are.
I mean, if you know those characters, it'd be wonderful. Even if you don't though.
And the anti-heroes are awesome. There's 2 more, Legion and Emma Frost, that you can use both to fight against and to play with. And then here's 5
more villains.
Oh my God, 6, 7.
Do you think they each have their own rules?
They have to.
Or they work together as a team?
No, these guys do not. I mean, I could see the trio working together because they're the Brotherhood.
Look at that little pterodactyl.
That's Sauron. Yeah, Silver Samurai. Look at that. And Omega Red. Oh, that's awesome. So look, that's essentially that's just that in its own. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 more villains, which is 3 times what you would get in the regular box.
Yeah,
so that's a
that's
lot
pretty
of
good.
content, and probably more to come, I would guess. So we should also talk about the fact that, like, as a collector or something, like, those are a lot of cool looking.
Yeah, if you love those minis, if you love collecting minis. Now we've talked about in our reviews that we're not huge fans of the style. I like it even less than you do. But I'm not collecting those things anyway, so that's irrelevant.
But if you were a collector, this would be worth it just as toys.
If you like those little
you could
figures.
even buy for $100. You get like 80 figures or whatever you're getting, and like that's toys for your kids.
True.
I mean, like, it's,
yeah, that's a good point. And they're nice looking miniatures.
Okay, so you get this core box with the the standard heroes and stuff. Yeah. That's
You
cool.
pointed out that these would be fun to paint, especially for a new painter, because they're so big.
On one of our reviews or discussions, we talked about that like for your kids, these are probably a great starting painting project because they're so much bigger and easier to paint.
Boy, this is a good game. If you're trying to get your kids into board games and they're at this right age.
Yeah, I didn't remember seeing the Sabretooth thing.
Yeah.
Magneto, obviously, he's like
Juggernaut, I like.
Mystique.
From the old days, he was in the very old X-Men too.
Yeah, and the cartoon and stuff. So the only thing about this is like the component, those actual components, the card quality and stuff are pretty bad. But I think there is a way to upgrade it in here. But
really?
I can't imagine that.
It would be nice if they printed them on better.
Yeah, let's see. Let's kind of
So
scroll
look,
down.
4 villain dashboards.
So you get those 4. That's with the normal set. So
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing. So let's scroll up and see the.
Scroll up. Scroll down.
Or excuse me, scroll down. Yeah. Challenge cards. Yeah, so everything that you would see in the normal, thing. So
I really wish there was something confirming that each of these villains that we see here have their
go
own
back
cards.
down here.
Like, that's making me a little nervous. That's the only reason
for sure
to
they
play.
have. Look, they each have their own dashboard.
Those 4, yeah.
4 mission cards. 24 threat cards. They absolutely must.
Oh, look, there's a new one of the 4. Or maybe there's always 4. But I want to see that those other things each have their own stuff.
Okay, so scroll down and I'm sure we'll...
There is a video, a couple of videos you could watch.
I think they'll say cards and whatever unlocked for each of them.
Rulebook, we didn't talk about any reviews, but it was pretty good, right?
Yeah, it was easy. And then there's this Horsemen of the Apocalypse one, which is pretty cool because you get 4 new villains. Probably some of them act as a one set, right? But Apocalypse is such a cool character, and you get Archangel there. He has like kind of a skull face because they're different because they're the 4 horsemen. But I know that was after your time, Apocalypse. So for me, that was like he's one of the coolest, biggest villains or whatever. So, but this is again one of those ones that's a complete Kickstarter exclusive, right?
Right.
So let's keep scrolling down. Those are some good looking stuff.
2 villain dashboards. Just keep that in mind.
So one villain's dashboard is for the 4 horsemen, and the second villain dashboard is going to be for Apocalypse. It's
important because this is the whole consumable nature. Like once you play against one villain and beat it, you might not want to play it again. So it matters how many of these villain dashboards there are. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So here you get the Apocalypse pledge. You get all this plus
all the content of the.
So this is $100. So now you're creeping up, but you're getting
you are
quite a lot, and you get this really cool Storm with the Mohawk look, which is her coolest look by far. That whole arc with her character was fantastic.
Everything is computed to make you go to the higher level.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you want Storm?
Yeah, they know. They're like magicians, where they know exactly when to. Yeah,
a couple articles,
galleries,
some galleries. That makes it even easier to paint, like with a model.
And then there's this optional. This is a complete, like Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, the original First Class.
Oh, it's the original.
That's cool, but I can't imagine for $30 that's like I need to get that thing.
But it's hard once you start to not buy certain stuff.
I think for me, like the Apocalypse one is probably more worth it because I feel like you're getting a ton of heroes already. So like. With the Kickstarter backing, so like the villains, I think is where you're gonna get the most replay value.
For sure, we agree with that.
So I think if you're gonna buy
one
of the other,
but it's still hard to pass once you start going in. Like if you want the models, are you gonna be able to sleep at night without having the models?
It's definitely a FOMO thing.
Okay.
So here's the play pad, which is cool.
Oh look, it's the outside is where you put your storyline. That's where you're supposed to put your cards as you play them.
Terrible idea. You're gonna like reach over every time unless you get a lazy Susan.
Terrible idea.
I think that's a waste of. But it's cool.
You normally love the mattes, the neoprene mattes, but get yourself a generic, nice, beautiful neoprene matte.
Although with a lazy Susan,
$35. That's
too much.
This is where this Kickstarter starts getting offensive.
It is double-sided. That's kind of cool. So I'm wondering if like one's outside and one's in the danger room or something like that, which is pretty awesome.
$35 for something that makes the actual gameplay less enjoyable.
Here's the ultimate bundle, $220. It should be noted, this is everything, all the Kickstarter exclusives and everything for the Marvel United Kickstarter, except for the core box. You would still have to buy the core box for $30 or whatever. So essentially,
but all the new X-Men stuff and then all the old stuff.
Somebody really gonna spend $500 on like this whole thing? I mean, that's...
this doesn't include the X-Men stuff.
No, this
is classic.
This is only the original.
On top of the $100.
So you're getting every Marvel United thing. But to me, like
you have to add. I'm just saying, $220 doesn't get you everything. $220 gets you all the older stuff.
Yeah. So
and then you spend the $200 for X-Men.
$250
because you have to buy the base set.
Plus the shipping gives you the older stuff. Plus
Plus the $40 shipping
and then
or more.
Then you got to buy the other. So, but I mean, I think it's a fun game. But I mean, is it a $500 fun game? I don't know about that.
Your family has to love it. But boy, you get a lot of variety.
Yeah, and this you get all these other. But that's another story.
We talked about this is relevant to talk about here. We've talked about how sometimes like you buy all the expansions, you go all in, and you don't ever want to even look at it. You're like, it's too overwhelming to look at it, to unpack it. But this is different. This game is so fast to set up that you could pop out and say, let's try playing Magneto.
Like everyone just turned the video off. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
The point is, you could easily pop out a villain and play it in 5 minutes, and
absolutely.
You would.
You're not going to get overwhelmed with this.
Okay, what's this?
So this is $25.
This is the upgrade.
This is where you can get boards that aren't garbage. Okay, so keep going. And then these
are that's a little offensive, right? Like we gave you this crap components. You could spend $25 to get it on proper cardboard.
All right, so let's look. So Sinister Six is actually pretty cool because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I don't know why I count them, but I'm trying to think of this. It's
and 6 villain dashboards.
One Sinister Six oversized
thing.
No, 6 villains. Yeah. Oh, and you can play them all together as one. Oh. And they look awesome too. Wow.
But you could play them individually too.
But you can't buy that if you're just going to back the X-Men. You have to have the base game to play that. And by the way, guess what? If you get Return of the Sinister Six, where's Spider-Man? You don't even have Spider-Man.
Oh, maybe scroll down and you'll see him.
Yeah, but that's $45.
Yeah.
There's Infinity Gauntlet for $40.
These are more. These are on top of the 220 and the 200.
No. The 220 gets you all this stuff.
Oh, gets you this. Oh, this is stuff
These
in
are,
the
but you
220.
can buy
Okay,
them all
okay.
optional.
Okay.
So I mean, the Infinity Gauntlet one was really pretty cool if you wanted to play the base game with that for $40. I don't know.
I wonder if are you waiting to see whether we're gonna back this? Cause
Yeah, let's see the Rise of the.
Rise of Black Panther. Okay, only one villain. Like I'm just looking at the villains. Like,
Yeah, but I mean that's a $30 and it gets you 1 villain and 3 new heroes.
It's offensive though that this box, the main box is $30, and then for four figures, you have to pay $30. That seems that seems offensive. Here's another one.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Tales. So these are each of the basic, like you're getting Thor, you're getting Black Panther with Killmonger, you're getting the Guardians of the Galaxy characters and stuff. So it's it's kind of cool that you can, if you like one franchise or the other, you can kind of grab it.
True. But this is a good lesson about Kickstarter. Like the core is a reasonable value for your money. Mm-hmm. Every add-on is horrible value
you're getting
for
like
money.
decreasing
They know they've got you because you're a completionist, and so each of these additional things.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the Spider-Verse. This is where you can get Spider-Man and Miles Morales and Spider-Ham, which I really want a Spider-Ham. He's so great. Peter Porker. Green Goblin. I mean, he's such a classic. Man, it'd be really hard to have the Sinister Six and not be able to have the Green Goblin in there.
Well, but you only get one Spider-Man villain? That's kind of a ripoff.
You'd have to get the Sinister Six. All right, let's keep going with this. Uh-oh. All right, optional buys. We know how to do that, right? And then we've got stretch goals. Right, here we go with all the. Yeah, we've kind of seen these, so let's.
These are things that unlock.
And now they've got another 10 days. I can only imagine that there's gonna be
another 10 things.
Maybe Jesse can put a little whoop on the bottom to say exactly how many characters are on there so far.
No. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Too many.
I like this pterodactyl guy.
Yeah. Well, I also really like the fact that some of these are both heroes and villains. That's such a cool thing to be able to play with them or against them.
Havoc.
Yeah, I love that. He's one of my favorite.
Phantom X. I don't know who that is.
He's a newer person. I don't know him very well, but yeah, Omega Ray. That's so cool.
That's not unlocked yet, but will be.
It's going to be. There's going to be 10 more at least.
Yes. Okay. Look, two-wave
shipping. So yeah, you're going to get basically the base box, and then a year from now, next May, I think you're going to get everything else, and you're paying shipping for both of those.
You have a choice. You can have everything shipped in the second wave, which is May 2022, over a year away, or you can get half the stuff.
Man, it's going to be. It will be so rough though to get just the base and have to wait so long for all that. So the second wave will contain stretch goals and all optional buys. So you're not going to get any of those cool stretch goals that you liked until next year. That's terrible.
And let's take a look at the shipping costs.
Yeah. Quick look
at that. Okay, so look at that. If you get it in 2 waves and you're in the U.S., in most states, $42 if you get everything. $42.
Well, most states, 29 to 42. 29. So split the difference,
and
$35.
If you're in,
by the way, that's calculated too. So So if you live in the states like we do, and you just get the basic pledge, which is the game and like about 1 million extra figures from the stretch goals, it's probably going to cost you $100, right? For 2 waves, $100. That price point for a game like this.
I mean, if you buy the $65 pledge and add the $40 shipping.
Yeah, so 35 basically, because it's 29 to 42. So most people are probably going to spend $100, and with that $100, you're probably going to get at least 50 figures, 60 figures. I don't know what it'll be at the time when it finally closes. That to me is pretty enticing since I like the game.
Yeah,
that's a lot of replayability and some cool figures to put on your shelf or whatever, and you could paint them up.
True.
The add-ons to me, like I'm kind of tempted on that Apocalypse box because that seems kind of cool. But I mean those add-ons and optional buys are huge extra money. I mean,
they're
30
value for your money.
Yeah,
it's hard to justify, but
and I feel like honestly, like if you can set aside your fear of missing out or your completionist, that idea, like if you just can buy that base box, there's a ton of characters and content in that. I can't imagine you're going to be like, I've just played 100 different characters and villains, like, and you're just going to be like, I need to play more. You probably not. I mean, the game is not such an in-depth game where you probably need to play
I
it.
think I agree with you. That would be the smart thing to do. Buy the things that are
Yeah.
value for money and don't do. But
Yeah.
paying $40 for shipping is such a a gut punch.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to click yes to that.
Yeah.
$40 really? You're making me pay $4 for shipping?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, like I think if you just look at it as a round number, $100 is
And you have
probably
to
what you're
wait
gonna
a
spend.
year to get it?
Yeah, but actually September is not too far away for the X-Men United.
Sounds like Greg is
I think I'm
switching
gonna-
over to backing this.
Okay, so most of the time, as people know, like if you
You
might
do
know, if you
not
watch
like
this, I'm
Kickstarter.
often say it's not worth backing it
Mhm.
because there's no there's no real reason to not just get the retail version. You might miss a couple of things, and I see different sides of it or whatever.
Mhm.
We've done a couple of these now, but this one to me,
So this is what you would buy.
there's
the
such a
Mutant Pledge.
massive amount of stuff you're
If you're
getting.
going to
with
pay
this.
$40 in shipping, don't you think maybe then it becomes worthwhile to buy all the old expansions like that?
For $220, I'm not spending $500 on this game. It's definitely not worth that. But $100 for a huge catalog of characters, like that to me, okay.
What about
I'm gonna
this,
get my
Greg, the
value.
$100 Apocalypse Pledge?
Well, then that's $140.
But
But
what
it
does
is-
this give you above?
So the 35. Okay, so you're paying an extra. Hold on.
65 versus the 100. What do you get?
Okay, so $30, 35 extra
This
dollars.
plus
You're
this.
getting no. You already get
This is what you get in the normal thing.
correct. So in
Plus, you
in
get
this one, you're going to get the Apocalypse Pledge. You're getting Apocalypse and his 4 horsemen and Storm.
that's
an
what you're getting
extra-
for
a new
$40 more.
Mm-hmm.
That's not. Doesn't
No,
seem worth
35,
it.
35
I think I'm on your side about getting the core for 65.
I mean, I love Apocalypse, and it's be cool to have those 4 horsemen and maybe play like a sort of a tandem thing. But like, I mean, there's so much content here. I mean, I'm just looking at like 12 different villains here. I mean, like all these different I mean, it's $100 for a game of this depth. It's it's not like you're playing Seventh Continent and you're gonna play all these adventures and things. Like this is a pretty simple game, right? To me, $100, that's a sweet spot. I wouldn't rack up all these unless you're a collector of toys, in which case I would say you're getting so many cool
I think
figures.
that's a
to
pretty
paint up
good way
whatever.
to look at it. If you want those toys as toys, then just get everything and you'll have
But I
the
mean,
toys.
and I'm a sucker because I have like Marvel Crisis Protocol and stuff, and I'm like, maybe I should stop buying things. And then they're like, and I'm like, what am I not going to buy? Daredevil? I'm not going to buy every time I think I'm not going to buy that figure, then I'm just like, I got to have that, And that's the thing about the comic characters and stuff. It's like,
So our bottom line is don't back
well,
Kickstarter.
not normally, but often.
You sound like you've talked yourself into it. Like
Yeah.
I'll play them. I will absolutely play everything you buy if you buy this.
I think $100, very good value. That's shipping and the base game, and you're going to get a ton of content. I don't think you're going to get like spending $400 on the whole complete package is going to give you anything except a sense of like I got it all, which will fade when the next Kickstarter comes out or whatever.
Now here's what I would suggest if you watch this video in time. Don't buy it blind. You have enough time to get a great value box for $30, the base Marvel United box. Rush out, get it, play it, make sure you like it.
Yeah.
Because it's cheap, it's a good value for money.
Absolutely.
And if you like that, you're going to like this.
Yeah.
If you don't like that, you're not going to like this. The game core is going to be the same. So if you can, and the other,
I do want to point out real fast though that you cannot buy that $220 optional buy that allows you to get all the content from Marvel United without backing the Mutant Pledge. So you'd still have to spend like $300.
But if you love that, especially if you got a family, if the family loves it, then spend your money.
And another thing, if you knew like you were going to give something for Christmas or something like that, you could buy the Mutant Pledge for $65, the X-Men Pledge, and then get the $220 for the Marvel United stuff for yourself if you wanted to do that. You know what I mean? So or you could try to sell it on Craigslist or something.
Now, I will say this. Greg says you can't guarantee it, but look, this is a money-making machine for them. This is their second Kickstarter, and they're already offering on the second Kickstarter everything exclusive from the first Kickstarter. If you pass on this, I really think you're going to get another chance. You'll have to wait a year, but so what? What do you have to play this year? If you wait, it's not like it's never going to come out again.
No.
This is clearly a success. The game is good. It's going to keep kickstarting, and you're going to have chances to buy all this exclusive stuff again.
Okay, so for me, I didn't want to have to back it, but I'm just too big an X-Men fan, and it was a fun game, and there's such a huge, great value that makes it worthwhile to back it. So I think for me, about $100 is going to get me all that content, and I'm going to stave off and not be a
Good.
completionist because I
Good.
think that's a diminishing return,
Yes.
and it will get old, and you're just gonna.
And
Have 'em
if
collecting
you
it.
play through all this new content and you still want more, you're going to have another chance to get it. So
Hopefully.
Greg's in. Greg got suckered into Kickstarter.
I'm getting the mutant pledge. Yeah. I'm gonna go. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to playing it. Thankfully, I don't
Who
have
says
to
I'll play with
pledge it. Thankfully, I don't have to pledge it because Greg's going to pledge it.
But thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
That's was hopefully a shorter review.
Should
which
you
isn't-
back it? The answer is
Yeah, I think
you should back it, but avoid getting sucked into buying everything at these ridiculous prices. And while you're buying it, you're not going to be happy that you're paying $40 for shipping. But okay,
Thanks for joining us.
see ya.